Hi guys, welcome to day 5 of our beginners course. My name is Jess. Today we're gonna need a small prop, our yoga block, or you can grab a small pillow. So we're just gonna be using it for our heads later on. So just put that to the side. Now I want you to stand tall and we're gonna set ourselves up. So make sure your feet are about hip width apart with equal weight between the front and the back of the foot. You wanna have nice soft knees with a tall spine. Shoulders are gonna come back and down. Chin is coming down as well, parallel to the floor. And you're finding your neutral pelvis from here. Remember to use that imaginary bowl of water if you're still not sure where the neutral pelvis is. So let's remember our key points before we get into our warm-up. So first, our core engagement. So you wanna make sure your core is engaged 20 to 30% through the class. So remember, it's that imaginary core set tightening. So it's like tightening, not an over squeezing. You don't want to overwork either. Same for your pelvic floor. You want to engage those muscles at 20 to 30% during the class. Obviously, when you're in that stretching or transitioning period, you can just let it go for a moment just to relax. And then of course the breathing. So in through the nose, sending the breath into the rib cage and out through the mouth. Let's start with some neck circles to warm up the neck. So any direction you want to start in is fine. Just start going with that. So loosening up that tension. And you can change direction. And back to center. Let's roll the shoulders now. So just little circles with the shoulder joint. And forward. And back to center. Now we're gonna do some spine twists. So let's get our index fingers and our thumbs together. Index fingers come under your chin, thumbs rest on your sternum. You're gonna keep your shoulders down away from the ears, and we're gonna just start twisting side to side. So getting a little bit of rotation going in the spine. So the reason for the fingers, remember, is so we're not over twisting our neck like that, keeping it in alignment. Last one, and then you can drop it back down. So we're gonna go into our squats. We're gonna add a little bit more to it today with a calf raise at the top. The calf raise is optional, so if you wanna just do the basic squat, that's fine. You're still warming up the joints of the hips and the knees. If you're doing the calf raise, of course, it's gonna get into your calf muscle and your ankle. So let's get in position. So remember, I like you to choose the distance between the feet for your stance. I personally need my stance slightly wider than hip width apart. My feet turn out a little bit like that, and that's just for my knees. It just feels a little bit better for me, but you can keep your feet pointing forward if that works for you. You wanna just make sure that you're pressing your glutes back behind you like you're tapping them to a chair. You're keeping a nice straight spine so you're not arching your back when you're squatting, and you're keeping your core engaged throughout. Only coming as low as you're comfortable. So obviously if you're having any knee pain, hip pain, you don't need to squat as low as I am. So let's get into it. We're gonna go right into the calf raise, and like I said, it is optional. So going down to our squat, coming back up into our calf raise at the top. Keep going with that. Two more. Last one. Well done. Okay, so now we're gonna go into some lunges. For your lunges, if you need the support of a wall, feel free to come hold on to something close by that gives you a bit of support, but only if you feel like you really can't balance without it. So maybe try first without, and then if you really need something, feel free to move around to a wall. We're gonna start with our left foot in front and our right foot in back. You wanna make sure both feet are pointing forward and that you're on the toes on that back foot. So just make sure your foot's not flat on the mat like that. Some people tend to do that. Just come onto the toes. For this one, it's gonna work a bit of balance as well. Obviously, we're gonna be working legs, glutes. Let's bring our palms centered, core engaged. We're putting all the weight in this front leg. We're gonna be driving the back knee straight down to the mat, just letting it hover. So we're not tapping the knee to the mat. You don't want it to do that. So coming low like this, and then pressing straight back up. Like I said, all the weight is in this front glute. Let's go for 9 more. Good, okay, let's go to the other side. Give it a little wiggle, a little shake to release the tension. Then we're placing our right foot in front, left foot in back. Make sure you get onto those toes first. Get in position, palms centered, and let's go right into it. 8 more. Last one, and come back up, give it a little shake. Well done, guys. Now we're rolling down to our mats. Okay, so that made me out of breath a little bit. So let's get our feet slightly closer than hip width apart, standing tall with good posture from here. We're going to our roll down. We're gonna be rolling down to all fours. So starting here, we're gonna tuck the chin, round the shoulders. Let those arms hang loose, so no tension in the arms. Imagine that ball on your chest that you're rolling over with a C curve in your spine, keeping straight legs until you feel like you have to bend them. That's when you can walk down onto your hands and knees. So from here, you want your hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips with a nice straight back. Gaze is at the top of your mat. We're gonna be doing our push-ups and we're gonna make it a little bit harder than we have been. So we've been taking our hands a little bit wider than our bodies. This time we're gonna keep the hands directly under the shoulders because we're gonna get more into the triceps. It's a little bit more of a challenging push-up, but you can do it. We're keeping the knees under hips from here. Remember, we're imagining a triangle between the hands. We're tapping our nose to the tip of the triangle, coming down on your inhale, pressing up on the exhale. Keep your core engaged throughout. So pressing that belly up, tightening it like you're wearing that imaginary corset, and also lifting your pelvic floor. So let's get into it and go. You also want to be pressing your elbows towards the back when you do this. Keep going, we're almost there. 3 more. 2. Last one. Push yourself into a child's pose, sitting into your feet and extending your arms, stretching off. Well done, guys. We're gonna come down onto our bellies from here. So I'm just gonna remove my mic, placing it here. We're gonna be doing our swan dive today with a few different progressions. So like everything else, any progression that I do is always optional. So the first level that I show you, you can always stick with that. So for our swan dive, position. Arms wide. You want your thumbs in line with your eyebrows. Bring your feet together and let your heels just drop off to the sides. You want to imagine that egg under your belly that you're trying not to crush. So that's an imagery I like to use to help you engage your core when lying on your belly, forehead down throughout this whole series. So if you're looking up, you're bringing that neck into kind of like a curve, which you don't want. So looking down, we're gonna start with the easy progression. So looking down, take a big breath in. On your exhale, just lift the head and chest. Squeeze your back, come back down. So we're gonna be lifting on our exhales and coming down on our inhale. So next progression, you can either stick with that or this is the next progression. Inhale, exhale, lift, head, chest, and arms. Inhale down. So that's the second progression. Third progression, we're gonna be reaching the arms forward in our lift. Once again, it is optional. Let's get ready, looking down. Big inhale, exhale, lift. Reach. Back into your swan dive position and down. So you wanna do that through the whole exhale. So slow and controlled exhale. So those are the 3 levels, and let's just keep going with that. Choosing which one you want to stay at, one that's challenging but you can maintain good form, and you're really squeezing the back muscles to lift. So let's keep going with that. Do 2 more. On this next one, we're just gonna hold it a little bit longer. So take a big exhale and hold it here. You can hold it in this position with the arms down or with the arms extended. So stay lifted and keep breathing. Can you get even higher? For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can bring it down. Well done, guys. We're staying on our bellies for this next one. We're gonna get our elbows tucked underneath our shoulders, gaze at the fingertips, lifting your chest off the mat. We're gonna be doing an exercise called the single leg kick. So pay attention here. We're just gonna set ourselves up by engaging our core. What I want you to do is start by lifting your belly up and off the mat. So watch my belly as it comes up. Now we're gonna lift the hips. Hips come up. And this is where we want you to stay, okay? So you're gonna be engaging your core here, kind of like when we did that plank, but we're stopping at the hips. Staying lifted, pressing through the forearms, gaze is staying at your fingertips. We're gonna start with the right leg and kick in 2 times towards the glutes. Kick, kick, down. Other side. Kick, kick, down. Keep going, keep alternating. One more on each side. Kick, kick, down, kick, kick, down, and bring yourself down. Well done. Let's do some cat-cows. So getting back onto your hands and knees from here. Hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Just a little bit of mobility here to release that back. We press through the hands around the upper back, look between the thighs, and then you arch your back, open up the chest, and look in front of you. Let's just do a few of these. Just enjoy the movement here. Really trying to exaggerate the curve and the arch. Let's make this our last one. Well done. Okay, we're coming onto our right side now. So we're gonna come into our side lying position. Right side's on the bottom. So extending your right arm out straight, your head is gonna be resting on that arm. We're making ourselves super pinned straight, like we're being squished between two glass panels. Hips are pointing directly up to the ceiling. Top arm is in front of you for balance. And we're engaging our core to create a small space between the belly and the mat. From here, I want you to take a big inhale, exhale, lift the top leg, not too high. Inhale, exhale, lift the bottom leg to meet the top. So we're holding both in the air from here, working into our side body, our obliques here. So if this is enough for you and you find this challenging to lift, you don't need to do the rest of what I'm about to do. We're just gonna add on a little bit. So we're gonna go into some pulses with both feet up towards the ceiling. This is gonna get even deeper into the obliques. So start pulsing both feet up and down. Keep going. Keep breathing. Last one. Okay, hold the legs in the air. This is also optional, top leg pulses. Doesn't need to come too high, just a small controlled pulse, tensing the leg throughout. Last one. Now this one's a little bit harder. Bottom leg pulses, it's gonna get into the inner thigh. So we're taking the bottom leg up to meet the top leg for little pulses. For 3, 2, 1, bring it down and hug those knees into your chest to release the side. And you can let everything go from here and just take a few deep breaths. Well done, guys. Okay, now we're rolling onto our backs. So on our backs with our knees bent, arms by our sides to start. Making sure your shoulders are down and away from the ears. Pelvis is in neutral. So we've done this a few times now, using that imaginary marble imagery when it rolls from the belly button to the pubic bone. When you're tilting your pelvis, you want it to land in the middle of the two. So you should be able to find your neutral pelvis a little bit quicker by this point, hopefully. If not, just use that imagery. So from here, we're tucking our chin down, like we're holding that imaginary ball between the chin and the chest, and we're breathing deep in through the nose, out through the mouth. Core and pelvic floor are switched on from here at 20 to 30%. Let's go into single leg extensions, and I'm gonna give you 3 progressions. Remember, once again, you can choose to stop at any progression if it's challenging enough for you. There's another modification that you can do. So if you have a small blanket or a towel and you're really struggling to do any core work on your back, like your back is hurting, you're really struggling to keep your spine imprinted, place it behind your lower back just to alleviate a little bit of that pressure. So let's get into it. We're gonna start by lifting the right leg into tabletop. So remember, knee in line with hip, shin parallel to the ceiling. We're gonna go into our first progression here. This is our starting position. We're extending the right leg, lengthening it away from you, not letting it touch the floor, so it's hovering, and then back to tabletop. Let's do one more, lengthen, and back to tabletop. If you wanna take it even further, you can lift the left leg into tabletop, coming up with an imprinted spine. So from here, you wanna make sure you're driving those ribs down towards your hips, so tucking them in, making sure your back is nice and straight. We're just gonna be doing the right side still. So left leg is just staying here in tabletop as the right leg extends. Exhale, extend. Inhale, back to tabletop. One more in this position. And back. So you can keep going with this one, the first one, or to make it even harder, a third progression, lifting the head and shoulders and arms, looking between the legs. Let's do 6 more. 4, 3, 2, last one, 1. Bring it back, bring the legs down, head back down, and we're gonna do the same thing on the other side, starting with the easiest progression, bringing your left leg to tabletop. Let's just do 2 like this. For those who wanna stay here, you can do all 10 like this. So let's extend, back to center. Extend, back to center. Now if you want to lift that second leg to tabletop, you can, imprinting your spine. Let's keep going. And if you want to lift the head and shoulders, you can. Let's do 6 more. Last one, and hug those knees into your chest. Oof, roll side to side, that's a good one. Well done, guys. Let's place our feet back to the mat. All right, giving our abs a little break, we're gonna go into some mobility with our hip circles. So let's start by taking our left hand onto our left hip just to hold it down. The reason for the hand is just so that it doesn't lift off the mat when we're circling our right side. We have 2 options on this one. You're either gonna create those circles with your knee, so bringing the leg to tabletop, then circling it, like you're drawing a circle on the ceiling with your knee, or to take it even further, you can extend your leg straight and circle with your foot on the ceiling. So let's go with that. Just start circling it in any direction you want, and I'll let you know when to change directions. So start with a nice slow and controlled circle, still keeping your core engaged and breathing throughout, keeping that hip down. You can change direction. Last one. You could bring that leg down, well done. Let's take the right hand onto our right hip. Holding that down, core engaged. You can bring your leg into tabletop, your left leg, or extend it straight, and let's start circling. Any direction you want to start in is fine. I'll let you know when to change direction. Slow and controlled. Good, you could change direction. Last one, and you could bring it down, and let's do a gentle hip opener. Bottoms of your feet together. Bring your feet in towards you and let your knees drop off to the sides. You could press down with your hands. And just take a few deep breaths here. So that's a really good one for your hip mobility. So if you were hearing any clicks or pops, that's really, it's very common, so don't worry, it just shouldn't be painful. So if it was painful, the next time you do it, just make the circles a lot smaller and just gradually get bigger in time, okay? So let's move on. We're gonna be doing our double leg stretch, but we're gonna start with the beginner progression for it with just the arm circles. So let's get our right leg into tabletop first. Knee over hip, shin parallel to the ceiling, imprinting your spine, taking those ribs, gliding them down towards your hips, lifting that second leg up. So you should already feel your core working just by doing this properly. You're gonna take your hands directly up to the ceiling. From here, I want you to start circling your arms. Any direction you want to start with is fine. Nice big circle, so wide. Keep breathing as you do this. Keep your spine imprinted. Okay, you can change direction. Last one. Now hug the knees into your chest. We're doing our full double leg stretch. You're gonna take your hands on your shins. For this one today, we're gonna keep our heads on the mat since we're still in our beginner's course. We're working our way up. You have the two options here. If you really can't straighten your legs on your extension, just keep a small bend. So if you're keeping a small bend, it's gonna look something like that. Obviously, your goal is to straighten them, so try as much as you can, but don't worry if you're not there yet. This is what we're getting to. So you wanna make sure your feet are gonna stay together throughout, and we're gonna lift the tailbone off the mat every time we bring the knees in towards our chest. And let's start with the exhale to extend. Inhale to circle round. Always lifting the tailbone up every time, so keep going with that. As well as extending or lengthening. Let's do two more. Last one. And you can come down into a full body extension on your mat and just take a few deep breaths here. Well done, guys. So just finish stretching off here, and then we're gonna roll over to our left side and do what we did before on the right. So getting ourselves into our sideline position. So bottom arm extended out, head resting on that arm. Legs are super straight, hips pointing up to the ceiling, top arm in front of you for balance. Let's get into it. So take a big inhale, exhale, lift the top leg. Take another big inhale, exhale, lift the bottom leg. So hovering both legs from here. So remember, you have the option to just stick with this, or you're gonna start pulsing both feet up and down, getting even deeper into the obliques. Let's go. Last one, hold it in the air. Once again, optional, top leg pulses. Coming up and down with that top leg, getting into the glute. Okay, hold the leg in the air, bottom leg pulses to finish off in this position, getting into the inner thigh. Keep going. For 3, 2, 1. You can bring the legs down and hug the knees into your chest. Few deep breaths here. Well done, guys. Okay, now we're gonna be using our prop. So taking your block or your pillow, placing it underneath your head. You can do any side first. We're doing one after the other, so whichever you wanted to do is fine. You're coming to your side, stacking your knees at 90 degrees and stacking your hands on top of each other in line with your shoulders. So from here, you want to keep your bottom shoulder flat on the mat throughout as you keep your gaze on the top hand as it opens up like a book, all the way until it reaches behind you as far as you can get it. Obviously, the goal is to get it to the floor, but don't worry if you can't. There's also an option to make it even deeper stretch, you can drop the top knee down to the floor, but personally, I still need to stack mine. So let's do 2 more on this side. Last one. And back to center. We're gonna do the other side. I'll turn the other way so you can see what it looks like when it opens up. So keep your gaze on the hand. You wanna open it up like a book, all the way to the back. So this is a really good stretch for the chest and shoulder, really all the way down the arm. Let's do 1 more. And back to center. Well done. You can remove that block, come onto your back, and let's just stretch off. Let's go into our spine twist. So extending your arms in line with your shoulders, feet and knees stuck together. Drop your knees to one side and look in the opposite direction. Just hold that. Keep breathing. Let's go over to the other side. Carefully bringing it up and over, looking away from the knees. Feeling that nice stretch. A few deep breaths here. And you can come back up to center. Just hug the knees into your chest, lifting the tailbone and rolling side to side. Let's come up to seated. Interlace your fingers and press away, rounding your upper back. Take the hands behind you. I'll turn to the side. Interlace your fingers and carefully just stick your chest out and lift the arms up. And you are finished with day 5, guys. Well done. Be proud of yourself for showing up, and I'll see you next time. Bye.